Welcome to this week's YouTube Live and the podcast. My name is RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. I got a special guest in today. We got Benjamin from the Charleston Oyster Cookers. So welcome to the Waterfowl Den.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Or you can say COC.
So who is COC or the Charleston Oyster Company?
Well, Charleston Oyster Cookers, I'd like to, first I'll say we're family first. And by that, I have right here, this is my main man. He couldn't wait to be on tonight. And he just wanted to say hello real quick. Now he's going to go off to bed. But we're family first. And what we are is we're a local, it's me, it's a local business, and we build oyster cookers. Well, they're called oyster cookers, but they're much more than that. You can cook anything in, steam, boil anything in them, and we are proud to be here in South Carolina and helping people every outdoor kitchen cooking lifestyle to make it easier, to be able to spend more times with friends and family while you're cooking outdoors, and just to have a fellowship and great food and family. So that's what we're about.
So I mean, everybody in the South likes to eat. I mean, who doesn't like to eat?
That's true.
And I love some all kind of shrimp, man. And you can get some good shrimp down in the Low Country. So I want to bring to attention here, I don't get to do this very much on the live because there's never a deer out there. But check this out tonight. Look at that. We have a deer on the live camera eating the corn. So for the first time in a while have we had a live spectator while we join. I mean, even the deer showed up tonight to see what these cookers are about. So
well, yeah, that's a great sign, isn't it?
Can you cook deer meat in it?
Well, like I said, you can steam or boil anything, and as I said, depends on how you like your venison, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to steam deer, but shrimp, I'm all for it. So
no, we can do that.
I met you down at the Simpsons Hardware, and you had all the cookers out there, and I'm going to pull up the website in a little bit, and we're going to talk about it. And man, I hope you got some good recipes to talk about too later. But how many models do y'all offer?
So currently we have on our website, we've got 4. So, and by that I mean we have we start with the classic, and that is just more or less like our just original chassis. Okay. So that is the single basket with no wheels. And then the next model we have up, it's called the wheeled classic, and that's the single with 2 wheels on it. And those wheels come on and off, really super easy to put on and off, take on and off, and it's got legs. So that way you're able to tilt it, roll it around. And not that long ago, I believe it was probably last February, I decided if you got 2, why not have 4? So then we came out with the 4x4 February, right around Seaweed down here, which is a big outdoor expo down here, and we unveiled it at the Seaweed, and that's the 4x4. And then we go to a little bit of a larger one. It's called the double, and that is 2 baskets, and that's for you get a little more firepower. Heck, Clancy, a little more firepower, and it's able to handle 2 bushels at a time, larger crowds. We've got a lot of caterers and restaurants who buy those, and certainly a lot of outdoor enthusiasts as well.
So obviously the name Charleston Oyster, I'm just going to assume, and I don't want to assume, where are y'all out of?
We are in fact out of Charleston. So yeah.
So the great state of South Carolina.
Great state of South Carolina, right? We are right here. So we were talking about that shrimp earlier, and there is no better shrimp, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree, than, well, I don't want to get in trouble on this one, but I say Edisto shrimp, but certainly South Carolina shrimp.
So I'm going to throw the website up real quick on the side so we can show them models that you were just talking about. Sure. So I'm on the website, but what is the website's address?
It is charlestonOysterCooker.com.
So
That
there's the 4 that you were talking about: the wheel classic, the classic 4x4, the regular classic, and then the double basket.
yes. So that first one right there on the left, that is the wheel classic, and that is, as I said, it's got the chassis is just the same. I call it a chassis, but the body of it, and it's made from a marine grade aluminum, and so it's not only durable, it's meant to be in the elements. It's also super light, and they're handcrafted right here in Charleston, and they're you probably can't get a close up on them, but they're the welds on them are impressive. I mean, we've got guys who are just really good with welded aluminum, and that's a big difference. And so what you do there is you've got your 2 tires. You just slide them on, attach the legs, and your burner's already on there. And you can take that thing, roll it down the driveway, roll it in your yard, roll it to the beach, the sandbar, anywhere you need to take it. It helps certainly for loading it in and out of trucks, just being able to tilt it up a little, be able to have one person up in the truck, lift it up and take it in, and just it's super portable.
So I actually can zoom up on it. So yeah, there's the welds you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could weld aluminum. I'm not even going to call myself a great welder on steel. I can get the job done, but laying dimes on aluminum, I make bigger holes than I ever do stacking dimes.
Yes, you don't. I don't. Well, it sounds like you don't want, or people probably wouldn't want cookers if we come up.
Nah, I would have big holes.
I'm the same way. I can. I think I trust my welding on floorboards of one of my old cars or something, but I certainly wouldn't present it for a consumer to.
Absolutely.
So
this picture here shows one of the inside baskets. Is that basket normally the same basket minus the double basket one?
Correct. So it's the same basket for all, even the double. So it's the same basket. So it's a 36 quart capacity, and that basket we kind of designed it so it's a real, the holes are in the center, so it kind of helps with the steaming. They're kind of, in a way, strategically placed to ensure even steaming, and the handles are bent out just a little bit easier when you're picking it up or putting it in. And it's the same for the classic, the 4x4, and the wheel classic, and also the double basket. So for the double basket, and we'll get to that in a little bit, or the double, it's just 2 of those in there, and that just doubles your firepower.
I got you. So there are a lot of people commenting, so I want to tell Jeff and my mother, hey, I saw them drop in here. So this is the classic 4x4.
Tell them hello too. Yeah, tell them I said hello.
They can hear you.
Okay. Oh, well, hello. Yes, that's a 4x4. So again, like we said, you kind of have fun with it, and you start going down, and why stop at 2 wheels? And so we added 4. And the great thing about it is, when you buy a classic, if you ever to buy a classic, the original chassis, it's designed so you can always add to it. So you can build in, if you wanted to just start with a wheeled classic, you can go that route. If you wanted to say, you know what, I'm at the point now where I think I need 4 wheels, and we've got wheel kits, and we can send you, so you can always build it up, which is a great, kind of a nice feature.
So to talk about what can you cook in it, and I know that was going to be one of the questions, but right here in there, what threw me off the first time, and I really didn't even think about using this for that, boiled peanuts. And that is something big in the South also, is boiled peanuts. 70 pounds of boiled peanuts. That would be a good cookout on the tailgate party right there.
It is, I'm sure it's Southern caviar, right? So we have a lot of customers who, the first and foremost, it's like oysters, and then we'll have low country. That people just really primarily do low country boils or Buford stews, and then we have some customers who, first and foremost, it's boiled peanuts. That's what they absolutely can't wait to take this thing for their boiled peanuts. And a lot of some of it's just for the size and the ease of it, and the ability to do as many in that, and then the ability to not have to have the tall pot. So this way, when they're able to get them out, it's a little bit easier.
Right.
And just a lot of people have had a lot of fun. We've got we did up in Horry County. We've got a fire chief who does 4th of July boiled peanuts every year. And so this year he was like, I've been looking at the double cooker, and so he got the double cooker, and I think he had boiled peanuts. I think he fed the entire town. So he was pretty excited.
How many pounds of peanuts can the double cooker hold?
Well, I'd say it'll do double that. So I usually and at some point I have to send you a pic. And actually, some pictures. If you go to our website, I think I have some on the gallery page.
All right, let's go to that. See, this is squirrel moments I was telling you about. I mean,
that's right.
That's a lot of peanuts.
There it is right there. That's Station 16 Kates Bay. We did we love our first responders, and so we personalized the top for him, and he does it's a 4th of July annual kind of boiled peanut for friends and families, and so that's cool. A lot of cool people.
All right, sorry, we'll get back on track here. Squirrel mama. So there's pulling up the classic. So I see what you're talking about right there, where you can go back and add the wheels.
Absolutely, that's what we said. I mean, some people just aren't, maybe just don't, when you're young, maybe, or whatever. Like, I can lift anything. And so the classic kind of works. And,
absolutely. The older you get, the more ibuprofen you got to take.
The more ibuprofen, the more I need wheels. I'm almost at the 4x4 point. But so that one, the classic, I've lugged the classic around for quite a few years now, and it's just, I think I'm ready this Christmas to get a wheeled classic. And it's really, when you're doing oysters in them, that's the thing too. They're really, the classic in and of itself, if you were to take off the top and take off the basket, and you were just to have just the body of it, it might weigh maybe 20, super light. You put in the basket, you put on the top, obviously it's about 32 pounds, I think.
Because you said they're all aluminum, right?
It's a marine grade aluminum. So it's meant to be, in the elements, in the water and whatnot. But it's super light, and you can, when you're doing oysters, you really only need, if you're roasting and steaming oysters, you really only need about 2 inches of water in there. And so, it's not particularly difficult when you're going to, you take out the basket, go to lift it, to clean it, and just to dump out a little bit of water, you hose it off and you can put it away. But when you get to you're doing boiled peanuts or some of the, the boils and things of that nature, it definitely becomes, it's kind of nice to have that little extra torque with the wheels when you tilt it up.
So obviously, I love some corn and some low country boil. Crawfish. What are you calling Buford stew? Obviously, you're more closer to the Buford than upstate South Carolina I am. What's in your Buford stew? What would you call that?
That's so a Buford stew, low country boil, same kind of thing. I know it's everybody's got a name for it, but I think we can all agree on kind of the core ingredients of it. And I think first and foremost, you got to start with South Carolina shrimp, right? Absolutely. And then you got your sausage, and I know there always debates like some andouille or kielbasa, some smoked sausage of some sort. And I think those are kind of the two key ingredients in my book. And then you got your great summer corn, if you can get it. Some people like white corn, some people like the yellow corn, depend, in season. And potatoes, right? And then that's kind of like, is that kind of your core?
Yeah.
Recipe?
Yeah. It's corn, potatoes, and shrimp. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big sausage like we were saying earlier. The older we get, the more our back hurt with the ibuprofen. the older I get, sausage hates me, and peanuts like not raw peanut. I mean like raw peanuts and like peanuts and the Lance crackers. Like they want to kill me from the inside out. Boiled peanuts don't bother me, but sausage. If I eat sausage in the morning, I'm still eating it in supper time.
Oh goodness! Well,
But
I'm sorry to hear that.
but corn, shrimp, and big old potatoes.
Big old potatoes, and so the great part about this one, our cookers too, is they can handle if you wanted to do, just maybe like 10 or 12 people, even our single basket can handle that no problem. And if you want to scale it up, say, I'm for whatever reason, I automatically gain about 20 friends, now I've got 32 people that have coming over, it can handle that as well. So it can feed a crowd. And I don't know, like what I've found, over kind of just over the years, learning different recipes or techniques, it's really fun to like you kind of start with that water, you fill it up, and it gets up to, in one of our baskets, you just get it almost about 2/3 of the way up. And then you fill it up with your water, then you spice it up however you want it with your Old Bay or crab season, however it is. And then this is a trick somebody taught me not that long ago, a gentleman from Walterboro, South Carolina. He puts orange juice in his, which
Really?
gives a little bit of sweetness. And it just kind of tames some of that heat, but it gives a little citrus flavor. And you can throw in your lemons, you can throw in fresh oranges too. And you throw in like a cut up onion, maybe a little garlic. I mean, you can there's ways to like over engineer it, but it really does kind of, each one can be different on how you approach it. So there's kind of fun to keep kind of tinkering with the recipe even after all these years.
So I'm definitely not an oyster eating kind of guy. The smell and just the saltiness. I do a lot of duck hunting down towards your way, and that puff mud is like, and when I tell people about puff mud, that smell, it's like you just never get it out, and I feel like I'm just the salt. I just can't do the oysters. But what is the difference between steaming and boiling? Like, what's the difference in the cookers? I know it's the same cooker, but what is the difference? Temperature, water. What are you trying to accomplish?
Sure. So if can you click on the website real quick? Can you go back
Yeah, I
to
sure
that?
can. What you want to go to?
Just one of the models, like the
All
classic
right.
or the 4x4. And if you kind of go to the frame, if you see, okay, that's a great one. You can see how you got at the bottom, you've got the angles right there.
Yep.
So if you just want about 2 inches of water in that bottom, if you're doing oysters, maybe an inch and a half. And the basket kind of, as it goes down, it sits right kind of in the middle of those angle pieces. So it gives you, a couple of inches of space between the basket and your water level. So when you're doing your steamed, I know we say roasted oyster, but like steamed oysters or shrimp even too, or it's crabs, anything like that. You want to keep it right, right at that 2-inch level below the basket. And what that does is it just gives it, particularly for oysters, it gets the steam going, but it's not going to wash them, right? It's not going to, a lot of oysters are going to release a lot of their own liquid anyhow. But you just want that steam to come through, go up, top, around, and just cook the oysters nice and gently. And so they'll open naturally without having to boil them the boil them, you're going to, if it's a full boil in them, you're going to lose a lot of the oyster juice, and you don't want to do that. That's kind of one of the best parts of the oyster.
I got you.
So that's and if you're, when we were talking about the low country boils or boiled peanuts, I mean, you fill that thing all the way up to, about 2/3 full.
How many gallons of water would you, or whatever you would put in it? What would you say if you were doing peanuts or low country? How much water are you talking?
It's 36 quarts, so you don't want it to, you don't have to fill it all the way up to the top, because the basket sits low, and so long as, depending on how many peanuts you have, you kind of you just judge it, until kind of they're floating, and so you're able to kind of, but it can, you don't want to have it coming over top of the basket as the water goes. So we've got like basically the top if you go to a basket, if you can show a picture of that, we got basically the
Well,
top.
what I was thinking was like if somebody was taking this to a football game or something, and they were setting it up. How much water, would they probably bring with them?
Bring with them. Yeah, so for the oysters, I mean, they don't, you could get by if you're just doing a couple, like a jug of milk. A gallon of milk would probably be enough to get you through a nice tailgate, doing like a bushel, 2 bushels of oysters. But see that top line
Mm-hmm.
on there. So you kind of want it a little bit above that, and that gets you probably to about 26 so quarts, a little bit. But you don't, if you're doing a smaller crowd, you don't have to go. You can just get it above the bottom one. So long as you're getting that boil, and it's got to be a certain level so everything can boil. But depends on how many ingredients you have.
So Jeff commented and said they don't do boils where he's at. He said I do miss them, but up here in Nebraska, beef at the barbecue. If my memory 100% is there, Jeff grew up in Georgia or as a young kid in Georgia, so he knows about the broils. So probably us talking about low country boys he's probably licking his lips right now.
I'm telling you, that's Nebraska to Georgia. That's a well. Here, actually, tell Jeff I've got some good news for him. We ship nationwide.
Hey, there you go,
So
Jeff.
if
Corn.
he wants,
I don't know where you're gonna get local shrimp in Nebraska.
Well, here I'll tell you what. We can work on this. I know there's some people who do ship shrimp, but at least in oyster season right now, there's a local company called Low Country Oysters, and they ship overnight nationwide.
Really?
And they're down in Green Pond. They've got beautiful cups. They've got clusters that have started to come in. So he could throw an oyster roast in Nebraska, no problem. And actually, the beginning of October, I was out in South Bend, Indiana, for a Notre Dame football game, and we did a pop-up oyster roast out there, kind of doing the same setup.
Really?
Had an oyster cooker sent out, had the oysters flown out the night before, and so we were tailgating, and kind of probably similar to Jeff in Nebraska. The people were like, "What? How does this?" There was bratwurst and hamburger, all the kind of the meat, and it was kind of the first time, from what I told, there was an oyster roast at South Bend, which was a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool. You brought up Green Pond, and if people don't know where Green Pond, South Carolina is, that is where a small couple of minutes of Forrest Gump was recorded in. There was, if you go to Green Pond, you can actually see the wall, the gates, the tree, and the bridge where he's running down the driveway, and he as the kid, the truck's chasing him, and then later on he's standing beside the school bus waiting to get on, and then the day he just said, one day I just felt like running, and ran down the driveway, takes a left, goes across the bridge. You can actually see that in Greens Pond, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty neat little tidbit of history for South Carolina there.
That is, yes.
Do a lot of duck hunting down there.
Well, they like I said, Low Country Oysters. They've got just a wonderful oyster. The water's great, and they're another great, not only local but also just great company, small business.
So if somebody called you up and they were wanting one, obviously you got two sizes, the single and the double. Obviously the single can come, like you said, without wheels. But if somebody was saying, hey, what size do you recommend? What size would you recommend for a certain amount of people before you need to go up to the double?
I think the single really does it's kind of it's not small, but it's certainly mighty. And the best part about it is, if you're doing oysters, I'm going to use, since we're an oyster, so I'll use oysters as an example. It'll hold up to a bushel of clusters, or it'll hold a box. So that, I mean, we're talking 35 pounds, and 35 pounds of like big Virginia Selects, and it'll do those, temperature's right, and depending on how you like them, in about 10 minutes. I mean, it can knock out a bushel of clusters in
That's
anywhere from
pretty
like
good.
6 to 8. So, when you're, whenever you're, a lot of people are throwing parties, when I'm throwing parties, and people are coming in at different times. And the one thing they always ask for is to have hot, fresh oysters. So the good thing about the single is you can put in the half basket, or fill up half the basket. There's only 6 or some people. Dump it, put it right back in. By the time they're done, the next ones are ready. So you're keeping them, hot and fresh, and you're not having to really worry about. It's the ease of it. You can hang out, have a few oysters, go back to the cooker. They're ready. Okay, dump the next ones out. You can kind of turn it back a little bit, kind of hang out for a while, then you can crank it back up. That will take no time to get back to steam and temp. And it's so I found the single really works for a lot of people, even uh, a lot of if we're doing benefits and stuff, we'll have 2 or 3 singles, and it'll knock out 10, 12 bushels in about an hour or so. So they're again, they're not obviously as big as a double, but they really work for, I think, most everyday, like, kind of backyard outdoor cooking enthusiasts.
I got you. Yeah. So you cook some lobsters in them, or steam some lobsters in them?
Steam some lobsters. This was a funny thing. So we're about this summer, as we were kind of heading out of oyster season in March and getting into kind of the shrimp and crabs and boil. We started reaching out to a bunch of people, and I was kind of going up the East Coast a little bit, and yes, had some people from Maine who are starting to order them for lobsters.
Really?
And yeah, so they kind of had always used, and I think a lot of people use, like, kind of. I remember when I was a kid, like, kind of the blue enamel pot that was a steamer that you would do crabs and stuff in.
Oh,
and so they
look like porcelain, kind of speckle painted. Yeah.
Exactly. I think, gosh, really knows how many crabs I've cooked in those over the years. But when I was a kid, I watched them being cooked. But there's still some of those around, and then kind of your turkey fryer pots. And people will just, when you're paying for lobster, one of the things we found is, the ones when you're cooking vertically like that, the lobsters on the bottom get overcooked, and the ones on top may be right. The ones in the middle, are done, maybe done a little bit more overdone. So, a lot of these people in Maine were looking for kind of this. They kind of understood what I'm doing here at Charleston Oyster Cookers, and that's kind of having a little bit of more of a horizontal, ensure like a little bit more of an even steaming, so you can kind of layer and stack, so everything's kind of getting cooked at the same time.
Right, and I can see that. Hey Joe, welcome back this week. I can see that because what we do low country boils. That pot is big, and the temperature on the bottom ain't what at the top. Where
right.
It being square, you're taking it this way. That makes more sense to cook, equal versus, different temperatures of that water.
That's right. And and the same thing, kind of, as I was heading down, a lot of people in Delaware and Maryland too. They're big. Obviously, Maryland's kind of known for its crabs, and they were a similar kind of story. They were just kind of they were just looking for a better way. So I kind of just showed them, like, well, here's what I think the difference is, but you try it and tell me what you think. And if you want to go back to my website real quick,
Yep.
I had because you can't tell a person from Maryland how to cook crabs. That's what I know. I think if you go back to the gallery page.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if you could tell any northerner how to do anything, but I think that might be vice versa. I don't know if you could tell anybody in the South how to do anything.
Well, there's a whole debate on steaming and boiling crabs, and so Maryland people, they steam crabs, and I'm trying to see if there's a picture of one of the. Yeah, there we go.
Man,
so that's
what kind of seasoning's on that?
Here's another little. It's a regional thing, but in Maryland, everybody, Maryland's kind of known for Old Bay, right?
Yeah.
And there's the other local season is called JOs, and so some people who really, there's it's a kind of some beef, I suppose. And so some people use Old Bay. These particular guys use JOs.
I got you. That looks good.
And that looks good, doesn't it? So yeah, they and that was he had a 4x4. He wheeled it down to his community dock, and they do a little crab feast. And yeah, that's kind of that looks like that was a low country boil with all kinds of good stuff.
That looks like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to cook. We're throwing it all in there because you got shrimp in there, you got some oysters in there, crab, lobster. I mean, it's like everything is in there.
Something for everybody in that one.
I bet the combination of all that cooking together is pretty good too. So if somebody was cooking that, how would they not overcook the oysters when they're trying to? Would they go in last?
I think that's how you have to do it. You just have to, traditionally, I guess, I don't know how you do it without, potatoes go in first.
Mm-hmm. And then the corn.
Then your corn. And I mean, my grandmother used to boil corn. I don't know where she learned that recipe, but I mean, she would boil it for an hour or so. So there was nothing left.
I mean,
certainly was no flavor.
If you ain't eating corn and as soon as you bite in, everybody gets sprayed, you're not eating corn. That's the way you eat corn is when you spraying everybody with that fresh corn. That's it right there. You know it's legit.
That's right. So yeah, we got you just get staggered in, and and particularly like low country boils like the shrimp, it's coming off. There's another local seafood place in Charleston with their own shrimp boat, Crosby's, and so if you kind of call and you can find out when they're coming in,
mm-hmm.
and shrimp comes in, and I mean it like off the boat, you pick it up. You've got these great kind of your local corn and your shrimp and your potatoes, and when you throw that shrimp in there, I usually shut off the flame on the cooker and just let it poach for about no more than 2.5 minutes. And it is, it's sweeter than, it's the sweetest shrimp I've ever tasted.
Man, I know there's some people being hungry after watching this video tonight, the live, but.
Well, that's actually, if there's one of those pictures, if you go back, that was part of the crab feast right there. And he was so excited. He was sending pictures right and left. I loved it. I think this was one of the first, maybe the first one to be in Maryland. So it was also nice for us too to realize kind of getting out of South Carolina and getting up the seaboard.
So Jeff asked a good question. He was like, so would I have to put it together or does it come assembled?
It comes, if you're ordering the classic, it comes.
You want me to go back to that classic photo?
Sure.
All right, there's the classic.
So when you get it, you open it up out of the box and everything's on it. All you have to do is attach your regulator.
Does it come with the regulator?
Yeah, so it comes with the burner attached, and that's a stainless steel braided regulator and hose, and that's a 20 psi. So it can, if you're not careful, it's like an F-14.
It's gonna roll.
It's gonna roll, and actually I was just like, man, I think I had 10 psi at one point, and I was like, that's not enough, and I'd always had temptation to get more, and so I do have 20 psi now. It's you don't need it all. Sometimes less is more, and particularly once you get it up to temp, you can ease it back, particularly even with oysters, but also with low country boils, and it'll just simmer at a nice. You don't have to have it full throttle.
I got you.
But it's always nice to have, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, here in the South, this weekend it's going to be 75, 80 degrees for opening duck season. Duck season is this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday opening. Well, we can't hunt on Friday, but pretty much we're going to be going to the blind on a Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, we're going to start duck hunting. It's going to be hot. There's going to be mosquitoes. And then Thanksgiving's going to roll around, and it's going to drop 20 degrees overnight. Like overnight. So in the South, you may need 10 PSI on a Saturday, but come next week, you might need that whole 20 PSI because it's going to be snowing outside.
That's a great point. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's always nice to have. Just because you have it, but when you do need it, it's there.
You never know when you might have to roll a little bit more steam going real quick.
That's absolutely, and that and so that one, yes, is I think what Jeff was asking. So that's how it comes, and all you got to do is just hook up the hose, and you're hook it up to the propane, and then you're good to go. And if you go to the other one, and they all ship like that. So if you go, like, say for the Wheeled Classic, that one, what we do is that's an aluminum. What we do is use an aluminum rod, and it's able to serve as an axle. So we polish it up, get it nice and shiny, and it's got 2 hitch pins on either side, and just you pop those off. Or I'm sorry, if you're assembling it, everything comes in the in the basket. You take out, you slide in the axle, you pop in the tires or slide on the tires, put on your hitch pins, you're good. The legs are thumb screws, and they're pretty easy to use. I mean, I don't have the, it's. I've done probably so many.
I see it right there. You talking about them thumb screws right there?
Thumb screws. Once you get this, maybe the one corner on that right one. Depending on if you're right-handed, it can be a little tricky, but it's really, once you get them started and they just screw in, and that's all you got to do, and attach the hose. And then the good news about that one is, you can take off the legs if you want it for storage, and the tires are super easy. And you just gonna put it all in the basket and put it in the corner, and it looks like a classic. And when you're ready to bring it out again, you can bring it out again. So, assembly all told should only take maybe about 5 minutes on that one.
So I saw on there the prices. Obviously, they on the website too. Like, how much difference is it calculating shipping on versus South Carolina versus Nebraska versus? Is it all just different shipping? Is that like truck freight, or is that like, does UPS ship?
We ship UPS, and we try to do I'm sure some of my customers have looked at our when the boxes have arrived and be like, "Oh my gosh, who wrapped this box?" Because I know shipping's always an issue, and it's always been, even for me, like in a lot of ways, Amazon is kind of not to say spoiled us, but it kind of feels that like you should get free shipping, and I wish I could, we just can't. So I try to make shipping as cheap as possible, or cost efficient as possible, and go through try to just get it as efficient, and also by saving it with materials. So
right.
It is I do the best I can to keep shipping at an absolute minimum on my end, and then just have to UPS is they're great. Usually in South Carolina, it's just dependent on where you're on in the state. It's usually I don't want to talk out of school in terms of prices.
Yeah, so, I don't want to throw out no shipping price and then be like, he said on the live that, hey,
I know.
It's 2025. Whatever the price of shipping is, it could be changed tomorrow. I mean, like, who knows in 2025?
And I a lot of the stuff gets calculated. I wish it's over my over my head on that part. But I know I do the best to get it down to as cost efficient as possible.
Can people pick up local?
Yes, and that's the other great thing is we do offer local pickup. So when let me go for a second. I'll be with you in a minute. So when you have a lot of people come in from town or visit in Charleston, who's or because we're getting a lot of visitors these days, in state, out of state, they'll purchase it online and come by, and we have a local pickup option. So that's another great way to do it as well.
Is there any in the stores anywhere?
Well, actually, like when we first met, one of my favorite stores, of all time is Simpson.
And they
I,
got like 4 locations.
and they've got 4 locations. So we're in the Sumter and Lake City and Manning. I think we're in those three, kind of in your area, and we're working on kind of we're in some other local stores down here, so we're trying to kind of expand that portion of it, so a lot of people can not only see go on our website, but they can actually see it in person.
So if y'all just
So
joining, we got Charleston Oyster Cookers, and that's Charleston. Obviously, you can see it at the top of the page there, charlestonoystercookers.com. Um, so what? Let me change, bring you back bigger here. I'm gonna click one of these buttons, bring you back bigger. So what would you say if I asked you what sets your cooker apart from the other companies, or just getting it on a big pot? What would be your selling point that says what sets y'all apart?
Well, I would say first and foremost, for us at least, I don't want to talk ill about any other company, but I have to say, we pride ourselves in the quality and having the local component to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got guys like Chris and Brian and Ken, I mean, these guys who are making the product, and they're right here in South Carolina. So the ability to to know how skilled these people are, to know that you're going to get a great product, to know that your product's going to be, it's not coming off an assembly line, it's being hand built right here in South Carolina. I think that in and of itself kind of separates us. And two, the idea of, like, as we were talking earlier, just the different kind of cooking technique on it. Instead of going high, we kind of go wide, and it ensures the price you're paying for seafood these days is, or any other food really, but gives you a much better shot of cooking it correctly, and appreciating it, and I think lastly I would say that it's just the customer service. I mean, my phone number is on there on the website. I say call or text anytime, and that truly is the case. If anybody has a question, you can call, you can text, you can email, and I will do my best to get back with you as soon as I can, to answer any and all of your questions. And not only, in the process of if you're looking to buy it, but also afterwards too.
So how many people's working for you?
Well, we have kind of a couple guys who are making them,
Mm-hmm.
and then otherwise it's just me, and then maybe this guy right here. Every now and again, he comes in and helps.
It's probably past his bedtime.
Oh, that is true. What are you doing up? It's funny. I have a rental division too. So a lot of our cookers are able, for people who want to host like backyard roasts
Mm-hmm.
themselves. They don't want to hire a caterer, or they want to do low country boil in their backyard. We have cookers that you can rent. And so last weekend, my wife got called in last minute to her job on Saturday, before I was having to make deliveries. So little man had to come with me on the road as we were dropping off cookers. So
That's pretty cool. Woo! The dog done found something in the yard.
that would be that. Yes.
So you're talking about renting them. So what would be the maintenance on them? What would you say maintenance on them? What's the first thing you should do as soon as you get them? Should you like whatever? How do you maintain them after, since they're aluminum? Like, what's your recommendation on pre and cooking and putting up for storage?
Yeah, great question. So when and to go to, I think as Jeff was asking earlier, what the assembly, like when you open up the top, the first thing we have is a sheet, kind of a general care and use sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first thing you do is you just want to kind of take a little Dove or dish soap that you have, and you want to just give it a nice rinse out, and that just kind of gets rid of kind of some of the just residue that's been over in the welds and all that stuff, and that'll clean
Right.
it out. Then That'll get you started. After that, it's ready to cook. You can cook anything in it, and once you're done cooking, say for oysters, you can just tilt it up and just give it a nice, just hose down. You can again use a little dish soap. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just kind of keep it clean. And that pretty much is it. The aluminum will, it's not going to rust, corrode, or anything like that. So long as you take care of it, it may not look as pretty after the first cook as it did when it arrived. But I found too, after the end of a season, oyster season or whatever else, I'll take a little bit of like Barkeeper's Best Friend. It's like an abrasive, comes in a cylinder. You take a little of that. You just rub the outside, inside, and it'll polish it back up in no time. So that's really all you got to do. So long as you're cleaning it out after every cook, it should last you a good long while.
So if we were at the grocery store and we wasn't buying any seafood, well, we're not even going to go grocery store. If we were at the local dock and we could get any fresh, everything was there, what would be your favorite recipe to throw in it?
That's like asking me. That's like asking me to pick my favorite child here. I don't know if I could do it.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that while a little man was in front of him. You always pick your wife or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot here. No, I hit the, it's, I don't know how you are, but it's like with the outdoors, it's so cyclical in terms of my tastes, right? So the pluff mud, wake up in the morning, and now that it's a little bit chillier and we're in November, I smell it as soon as I open my door in the morning. I'm not too far from the river, and that just gets in my mind. I'm like, it's oysters. I'm just craving oysters. And then by March, I'm like, man, I cannot have another oyster. I cannot even. I cannot wait for oyster season to be over. And then I start craving shrimp. And that's when the shrimp comes in, and then you get your crabs coming in. So I can't choose one, but right now, if I had to say it, it would be just some great low country oysters.
Wow. So you sent me two pictures here. I want to pull up on the pictures here. This was something. Talk about this. I wish I could make it bigger on the screen, but I can't make it any bigger. So what's going on here?
All right. So this was a customer out in Idaho. Who bought one, and originally they bought it for they had lived in South Carolina, and they lived out in Idaho, and they were kind of having a similar situation to that. They were kind of missing the food of their home, so to speak. So they're oyster low country boils, and then they sent me this picture, and big hunter, and that was, I did not expect that. So he's been using pots to try to do it. And I guess that's his European mount, but it was he saw it, and he thought his wife was gonna get mad at him, but he did it anyway. And he said it's like just the perfect vessel for doing that. And he's done a couple of them now, and to the point now where they had to buy another one for that, and because his wife, and then one for their food.
So what you're saying is, men, you could talk your wife into cooking a low country boil, and you can use it for something else.
That's right.
Yeah. Christmas is coming up.
Christmas is coming up, and that is you can do that right at home.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never guessed somebody does that. But when you start making stuff like that, who knows what people get an idea and say, hey, I wonder if it'll do this, and it comes from it.
Yeah, so true, and that's why I love, as we're getting more and more customers or users or friends who borrowed them from their friends, and just learning different things. And that was not one that I couldn't even imagine. But we've had a bunch of people who are just doing. Some people do collards in them. Some people do tamales in them. I mean, just big bowls. And hopefully we're coming down the line a little bit. We're going to get some kind of different baskets that will be, almost like a big saucepan. So you can, like a double boiler almost. Mm-hmm. So you can grits in there, and you can do. So we're working on all kinds of fun stuff. But in the meantime, we're still exploring the simply just having the steam and boil basket part
You
of
know,
it.
shrimp and grits is always a favorite.
I know. That, yes, that's
So,
right.
so I did. There is another photo here. You know,
Hmm.
I've seen them in person, but just showing that beside you there, I mean, that almost comes all the way up to your kneecap. I mean, I don't know the
That's
measurements of it, but I mean, it's not little.
no, it's not. I mean, the thing about it is, it's not little. It'll fit in it can fit in the back of a sedan,
Hmm.
if you have to. But it's certainly the back of a truck not a issue, or kind of any type of SUV or anything like that. Like it's and it's super light, so it's not like hard to travel with. And that was last year. I believe that was it. We came up to ladies' night, or was
At
that
the
men's
uh,
night?
at
I think
the
that was
Simpsons.
at Simpsons. I think that was men's night at Simpsons, and we did kind of had oyster roast, had fresh oysters, and had a great time.
Now, I'm gonna say to my friends who watch this and maybe watch it later, I'm not putting y'all down because I know we on the poor side, but that right there is a game changer. That little, I don't even know what you call it. I've seen them where you could just dump it right in there, and as soon as you pick in and clean it, it's going straight into the trash can drum, and you just stand there and just. I'm used to the newspaper on the table kind of deal, but that right there is a tailgate. There is no cleanup. It goes straight into the trash can. I don't even know what that thing's called, but I've seen it, and it's game changer.
That is a I have those in my rental fleet, so I brought that one up, and they're really great. Now, again, you probably wouldn't take that to the White House, but you probably it's a like I love it. It's great. It's super light. It's like kind of a plastic mold. It's got 4 quadrants, and you're able to it can fit about 4 6 people. 4 people obviously, but about 6 people. It's got beer holders. You can have a place for your hot sauce, and right, you eat your oysters or your shrimp, whatever it is you're eating, and you can just throw it right in the trash can. And when you're done with it, just it's attached by bungee cords to the handles of the trash can. So you just undo the bungee cords, take with a hose, spray it, and then you're done.
That's pretty cool. So I know I had the website up here, and I know you can reach out on contacting, but how can people get in touch with you? I know it's on the website up there too, the telephone number scrolling by. Y'all got any social media?
Sure. We're really starting to kind of work on that too. So the best one we're kind of pushing is our Instagram. So it's at Oyster Cooker, and that's on Instagram. We are on Facebook as well, but primarily kind of doing the Instagram. And again, if you hit the contact button and you send an
Mm.
email, that'll come to me. And like I said, I try to answer it. If I get it and I'm able to, if I'm not driving or whatever the case may be, if I'm not in the middle of something, I try to answer it right away.
So
And that's just the best way.
there's the
Or
links
call.
down on the bottom, the Facebook and Instagram, but
Yep. Give
you
us a
can pull
follow.
that up.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, funny enough, this is that second picture right there.
Mm.
That's another cooking tip from a customer.
Well, I can't make it bigger because I can't log in.
Oh,
They,
sorry. If you
well,
scroll back,
I use 2 browsers. I have a browser where I communicate, and then I have a browser where I show up on here, because if not, people send me messages while I'm on live, and it's like ding ding. So I can't log in to see it.
well, if you go off it, you'll see the idea is like this guy, when they were doing a low country boil, they're actually doing a boil, and what they did to melt their butter is they just put the saucepan on the lid.
That's pretty cool.
And so, yeah, so it was just like it was a great little cooking trick that I had never done before.
I know at the show too, you had I'm gonna call them a knife, but I'm sure they actually have a name for breaking the shells open. And y'all had all kind of stuff there too, right?
Hmm. That's right. If you go onto our accessories,
Yep.
I know you're gonna learn. You're gonna be able to navigate this website pretty well. I think that's the one you're talking about, the one on the
Yep.
right. Yeah, so that's the ultimate shellfish knife, and that is it's a pretty substantial knife. I guess I'd say it. Stainless steel, and it'll if you can't crack open an oyster with that, then
I mean,
it's like sword in the
I'm
stone.
sure new people it is hard to open. Like I'm sure
Mhm.
y'all down there, y'all doing it all the time. It's just like boop, and it's open. And I have watched people try to open oysters and not know how to. Again, I don't eat them, so I would be that type of person fighting to get into them. I'm over here laughing at them while I'm eating the shrimp. So I mean, that's all I got to say. But I'm sure,
That's good.
I'm sure y'all locals make it look simple.
Well, that's the thing too, is when you kind of, not that we don't, a lot of people don't eat them on the half shell here, but in Virginia particularly, like a lot of the oysters are on the I mean, I would say the majority of them are kind of on the half shell, whereas here a lot of half shells, but also during season, steamed oysters, roasted, however you want to call it, and so that gives you kind of a slight little advantage there, because that steam, when they're just beginning to open up a little bit, or even if they're wide open, you don't really, there's not much skill in that. You just got to be able to take the knife, get it right in there, and just twist, and it's open. As opposed to having a raw oyster, which can be. I mean, that's those things they're a bear.
Yeah.
Shucking oysters.
Yeah. Like I said, while everybody's eating that, I'm picking out the shrimp. So, so any kind of shows you gonna be going to anytime soon? I know I saw you at the Simpsons Expo, but that was a couple of weeks ago. So, anywhere coming up?
Coming up, I think the next big one for us is going to be Seawee.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know, and that's here in Charleston in February. And if I can get into one in between, it's just a matter of being able to like get orders fulfilled and all that stuff. And I love coming to Sumter, and and wherever else I can get to go to a nice weekend to kind of meet new people, like such as yourself, which has been which is great to meet you, and all the other people that you got to get to know over the weekend if you're there in a show or in a new town or something like that. So I hope I can get one before Seawee, but definitely Seawee I know will be that's guaranteed for February.
That sounds pretty good. I never heard of seaweed, but that's right in the middle of the end of goose season, kind of hunting season.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
No,
that's pretty cool.
Seawee that's a great weekend. A lot of fun. I mean, great, just outdoors.
Seaweed
people,
is incredible.
Yes, and it just a lot of great vendors and new stuff, and they've got
Like where at in Charleston is that?
They've got it. It's gotten to the point now where they have to do a couple. I think there's 2 locations: Brittlebank Park, which is right kind of on the river, right before before you cross over into West Ashley, and then still in the square, Marion Square, right in the center. So, and they have all kinds of great live exhibits as well, and it's a great weekend, and it's getting more and more.
We were down in Charleston, I think in April, the end of April, and like the whole battery part, they were redoing it, and like a lot of that was blocked off.
Oh, right.
So I'm sure during peak season they have a lot of stuff open.
They do, yes. And in February here, it's just we were talking about the weather earlier, or you were talking about the weather earlier. You never know, but it can be mild, but also on Friday and Saturday, and then the next day, on Sunday, it can be down in the 50s. So it's kind of it's fun, and that way everybody gets to show off their new jackets and everything they get bought that weekend, or new boots if it rains. So it's just always a good time.
Man. Now we done come to the end of the show and we can't even show no more good looking pictures to eat.
Well, hey, look, go to the gallery page. I encourage you, or go to follow, go to Oyster Cooker, and not only that, don't the pictures are there, but also, I always encourage customers, like, anytime you've got a new idea or a recipe or something, please share it. Please take a picture of it. Even just oyster roast, with family and friends, we just love that. As kind of we started from the beginning, who is Charleston Oyster Cookers, and that's really what it's about. It's just about family, fellowship, friends, food, being together, being able to cook, outdoors, and all that good stuff. And so anything that can kind of help bring people together that's what we're about.
What's up,
and
Mike?
sharing recipes.
So, when we started, Benjamin said, well, how long are we talking? 20 minutes? I was like, nah, we're gonna go for like 45 if we can. Shoot, we just went over the 1 hour mark. So, is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, did I miss anything? Like,
I think we got. I mean, like I told you too. I was like, I could talk for 45 hours. You just, I don't know if that's good for you, or your viewers. But no, I think we covered everything. And,
well, I mean, Jeff's a couple hours behind us, so I mean, Jeff's ready to go.
I mean, Jeff in Nebraska. I tell you what, I'm going to be making sure I get a contact, an email or something from Jeff in Nebraska. But I think we pretty much got it covered, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you, and for you having me on and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. So we're really excited. Really appreciate all the customers and the great feedback we've gotten. Excuse me.
See, I got you choked up.
I know, it's so emotional here.
It's that puff mud. That puff mud. You took a deep breath in, and low tide got you, and that puff mud gonna take you out.
Well, it was that, and I just got a hit of my fire pit ran out, so I got I think a smoke plume coming in as well. So double shot.
Steam oysters now. Smoked oysters.
So yeah, I appreciate anybody who's interested. Like like we said, go to our website, take a look at our products, and if you like them, go ahead and purchase if you're comfortable with it. If not, you got any more questions that we didn't cover tonight, like I said, feel free to call or text me anytime, email, however you want to get in contact, and I will do my best to answer any questions you have, and to make sure that you're set up with whatever you want to cook. Had a customer actually earlier tonight. He was emailed me asking for a low country boil recipe. So we're working on a little recipe book that's going to come out to kind of help people as a general guide, kind of with how much water or how much timing and kind of seasonings and all those and things like that. So we're excited about get through this oyster season and get into crab and shrimp and just keep these things selling year round.
Yeah, I agree, man. And that's why I was doing these YouTube lives and the podcast and trying to get people on, because that's what I'm trying to bring. South Carolina is not known for their duck hunting. So if you had just a channel of duck hunting in South Carolina, there's not a whole lot going on. But I'm trying to bring light to other good stuff in South Carolina, like somebody who is trying to do something American made, family owned, supporting the local community. And I didn't even know about the event in Charleston. So I mean, it's just like getting the word out.
Well, and that's so true. And there's so many great stories in South Carolina. Just small businesses and people who like yourself who are helping promote. And everybody just working to kind of to be a community, not only a state, but also make kind of at the state level, but also at the same time, we're all here to enjoy the great place we live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and Man, maybe one day I'll shoot you a text and be like, "Hey, I'm hunting this weekend down near Charleston. Get the shrimp ready. Shrimp,
Hey,
potatoes, and corn. I don't care about nothing else. Shrimp, potato, and corn."
you know what? I'm gonna call it the Randall the Randall stew. And what I'll do is I'll have a special one ready for you. You come back, it'll be nice and warm. I'll have the best shrimp, and and that's it. And
Man, don't
and I'll
threaten me
season
with
it
a
up.
good time.
No, you are welcome anytime. That's another thing we love. I'm sure y'all. I mean, it's the hospitality too. Again, coming up to Sumter, getting to meet you and meeting all the just a lot of great people. So
Right.
you're welcome here anytime. Just give me a little heads up so I can make sure that the shrimp are coming in fresh.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, I
That's right.
appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said a couple weeks ago, this was episode 99, and next week is episode 100. So, podcasts and YouTube lives don't usually make it very far. So, I am very grateful to be hitting that 100 mark next week. So, y'all tune back in
Congratulations.
next week. So. Also, remember it's opening duck season, so make sure you got your plug and your shotgun. You don't want that ticket. So, until then, y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And Benjamin, I appreciate you coming on. Y'all go check out Benjamin. Tell little man, see you, little man.
Hey, will you tell him to go to bed? Tell him it's past his bedtime.
He said he had a YouTube channel. Little man said he had a YouTube channel.
It's coming up. It's called the Food Report, but I think you got nothing to worry about. Congratulations on your upcoming 100 show. That's great.
He might be the first critic to the Randall shrimp potato corn recipe.
You know what? We need to do a collaboration on that. Food Report meets RD Reynolds. I think we got it.
Well, my friends always tell me that, hey, I eat like a kid anyway. Chicken strips and hamburgers. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them.
You know what? He had chicken strips for dinner tonight, so I mean, we can. Nothing wrong with that. I may have taken a few. Don't let him know that.
Hey, there's a dad text. There's
That's
a dad
right.
text. All right, well, I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And here's a word from my sponsors, and I appreciate every single one of you. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors, shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made full waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got Predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge.